And we are live.
Good morning, everyone. It's the one, the only Senor Silverback himself coming to you live with my main man, the master of the flux capacitor. And we are joined by none other than Ken, the professor, a.k.a. Shotgun Schortgen. Ken, good morning. How are you, buddy?
Ken, you're muted. He probably wasn't expecting that soon, but go
Oh.
ahead. Keep going.
Anyway,
Morning.
good morning, man. Anyway, while you're getting back online, let me just run by real quick the announcements. Follow us on Twitter at the Rogue Money. Check us out on Rogue Money, the Facebook page, and roguemoney.net. And also this YouTube channel. Make sure you smash subscribe and hit the like button. And guys, here's the thing: we do a lot of exclusive interviews now. So go to the website. It's going to be exclusive there for a few days before it even rolls into YouTube. So you want the latest content? Go to roguemoney.net. Also, with that being said, myfreedomnow.us. Check out our sponsors. If you're in debt, you need your credit fixed, you need to get funded, learn how you can get up to $600,000 unsecured. Go to myfreedomnow.us. Check those guys out. Let them help you out. With that being said, Ken, what's up, buddy? How are you?
Good morning. Yeah, I actually got up about 4:30 this morning, so made it to 5 a.m. to the show. Glad to be on.
Thank you, man. Thank you for being on, bro. Because here's the deal. Hey, so many things are going on, and where do you want to begin, bro?
Great question. Obviously, this is an interesting week. It's probably going to be slow due to the Trumpster being outside the U.S.
Yes.
And the clowns in Congress don't have somebody to try to pinata for impeachment garbage. I still get a trip out of good old Representative Green from Texas, who took a fake news New York Times article and decided to try to do impeachment.
What a jackass!
I think the Democrats are so desperate that they're just digging themselves into an even bigger hole.
Oh, without a doubt. I mean, you got to go into a bigger hole. I mean, when you're representatives, your most vocal, vociferous individuals are in people like Maxine Waters, who, as you said, rightfully so, dumb as a box of rocks.
Yeah,
I mean, that's who they are.
she's the poster child of why nobody should ever bother to get a Ivy League law degree. Yep. Because if Harvard's going to give her a law degree, then I don't want it.
Agreed. Absolutely. I guess we could get into the litany of topics here, my man. Trump and the Saudi deal. What's your take on that, Ken?
Well, Trump is doing his best to pretty much try to get any type of business going. Sure. That's really the primary thing behind it. What does the U.S. sell? The U.S. sells arms. They sell inflation, and they sell vaccines.
That's it. So that's the only industry we have left. And people are like, well, he's gonna do this so he can arm out the Saudis so they can go to war and create World War III in the Middle East. No, that's not what's happening. My take on it is this: what's going to happen is a $350 billion weapons deal, and what are the Saudis going to get? Obsolete equipment that can't fare well on a battlefield. They're going to get more useless M1A2 battle tanks that you see going up like Roman candles in the Yemeni desert. They're going to probably get aircraft that are right now obsolete, that can easily be taken down by defensive by the newer generation defensive measures. So it doesn't really change the game much, does it, Ken? Well, but it does create jobs for us here.
I wonder how much of that is actually going to, if it's already equipment that's been that we have in inventory, then are the Saudis, are they making a deal where they can actually dump some of their treasuries to buy this stuff? So really it becomes a zero-sum game at that point.
Right, exactly.
We don't know the brass tacks of this agreement. It looks good on paper, but I get the feeling that pretty much it's just, because we've got the Saudis have about $3 trillion in treasuries. There's always these rumors that the Fed and the Treasury have stolen it, and pretty much are not allowing the Saudis to use those reserves. And this could be a possible way of getting access to some of it without costing too much in the bond market.
Yeah, absolutely right. Absolutely right. And plus you have that IPO I don't even know if that IPO went forth for Aramco.
No, they've talked a big game about it, but the fact of the matter is that as a lot of brokers who are looking to do the deal for the Saudis have looked into the actual valuation of the assets. Some of them are saying it's 10 times higher than its actual worth.
Wow.
So instead of $2 trillion, it's more like $200 billion.
Mm-hmm.
And with that being said, it's almost not worth doing.
Yep. We also have Trump going to be meeting with Israel. They're kind of upset about redrawing the maps there, Ken.
Yeah, Netanyahu, or as you say, Netanyahu.
Netanyahu.
Yeah, Netanyahu, I think, desperately wants some type of validation because his political capital is really on the fritz too.
Yeah.
A lot of the political parties are seeing blood in the water. We're not going to really get a two-state solution, but one of the ways that Trump is trying to regain his footing, his popularity, is to go international, since he's pretty much shot, domestically. But he was bound to be hamstrung by Congress and by the deep state anyway.
Absolutely correct.
So you might as well make yourself into an international hero, and that'll put a lot of pressure on the Washington hegemony to try to say, okay, are we going to fight this, or are we going to go away? And obviously the Silk Road, I'll tell you what's going on with the Silk Road after the Belt and Road Forum. Guess who decided to bring up the Belt and Road Forum at their agenda this summer?
Oh.
The World Economic Forum in Davos.
Oh, well, you look at that. Now they can no longer ignore it and pretend that it's not there and their world is about to end.
Exactly. The World Economic Forum will hold special discussions on how to implement the Belt and Road Initiative and the best ways to leverage global market forces. So when Davos decides that it's going to become an agenda item, then you know that the stuff is real.
Yep, absolutely, man. Absolutely, without a doubt. And so let's. I guess what we could do next, Ken, we could talk about student loans. Now they're trying to pass a law where student loans can be discharged in bankruptcy. It seems, man. Have you heard
to me, that's another thing that the Democrats, all they know how to do to try to solidify their base for the next election is offer money.
Yep, handouts.
I'm of two schools in that. Mm-hmm. One, the problem is that when the government decides that they want to get into a process like this, they never solve the underlying issue. The underlying issue is when Obama took over Sallie Mae and nationalized student loans, thus everything was backstopped and the universities just jacked up prices and shot through the roof. Mm-hmm. So they need to get rid of nationalizing student loans first, put that back into the private banking sphere, which would mean that the banks would be able to discriminate over who can actually afford student loans. It would cause the amount of admissions to go down, and thus it would drive prices down. But when Bush, and even going back to the 1970s, when they removed student loans from the bankruptcy proceedings for individuals, that to me was should be removed.
Right, absolutely. That needs to go. It is cruel and unusual punishment, man, where people are facing financial hardship. They fall behind on everything. They have everything ripped away from them in a bankruptcy, and the last thing that's still taxed on them, just like rubbing salt in the wound, is the stupid student loans from a stupid college that they went to, where they got a degree that they're not even going to, they went to school and got a degree that they're not even utilizing. That is the worst.
This is one of the things, I don't know where they get this concept that education is not a business contract, not something you're paying for goods and services. Frankly, I'm surprised more students don't actually sue universities for when they come out of college with these degrees and they learn absolutely nothing. They're not getting their money's worth. I would like to see more and more of these students coming out suing the universities for malfeasance of contract.
Well, Ken, I mean, there are some social justice warriors who tend to disagree with you. They feel that they have a wonderful education in gay art therapy or gender studies, and they're just mad. It's not the school's fault. It's society's fault that they're not given a six-figure income in a corner office.
Not too many people are getting that, but it's kind of interesting you say that. They've actually come up. The Chinese have come up with a word for the social justice warrior.
Yeah, I heard
They're now
about
calling them boyzoos.
Boyzoo, right?
Yeah, it's a derogatory term
Yep.
for any of the snowflake progressive left.
That's perfect.
Yeah, only this is what the definition they've come up with. One of them. They only care about topics such as immigration, minorities, LGBT, and the environment. They have no sense of real problems in the real world,
Right.
and they are hypocritical humanitarians.
That's it. That's exactly what they are, and they're the real fascists.
So those would be the same students that walked out of Mike Pence's speech at Notre Dame on Saturday, right? The 50 or 60 students that walked out.
I'm almost at two schools, but on that side. But what is interesting is this is a university in the very state he was governor of.
Yeah.
Mike Pence. More and more, he's a deep state neocon. I'll give it to the students at this point. A walk out on him because I think he's working in the background with Paul Ryan, either trying to hamstring Trump or to be part of the impeachment.
Well, on Friday we had Monica Perez on, and Monica made an interesting point because she's just a brilliant woman. She made a point about the 25th Amendment, where a vice president and members of Congress can relieve a president of duty. Nobody can. Yep.
Yeah, but the Republicans are walking on eggshells because if they do this, they are killing their party.
Yep.
They've got to be willing to give up their political careers to do this because this will cause the independents to just destroy the Republican Party. They won't vote for them. The Democrats don't really have anybody to offer. So are we then going to allow a Mussolini, Hitler, Hirohito, or these type of to step in and suddenly move into the forefront?
Yeah,
it's a great question because this will really tear. Since we're a two-party system, anything that destroys the second party. I know Bix was talking about. I think on the Wednesday show. He said that he believes that Woodrow Wilson, the only reason that he voted for the Fed was because of the Grand Canyon gold. Mm-hmm. But the fact of the matter is that Woodrow Wilson only won the presidency in 1912 with a 42% popular vote.
Right.
Because Colonel Edward Mandell House was his campaign manager. Well, guess who he was campaign manager of also? Teddy Roosevelt. And Taft was easily going to beat Woodrow Wilson by a long shot.
Right.
And Mandell House went to Teddy Roosevelt, lied to him about things that Taft was doing. Teddy went nuts, created a third party, split the Republican vote, and Woodrow Wilson got in. So Mandell House was doing both. But something else happened of why he chose to do the Federal Reserve Act. Woodrow Wilson was having an affair.
Huh.
And that was kept over his head, just like the.
Would that be with a woman or a man?
It was a woman.
Okay.
It was a woman. And, just the way the deep state always tries to get those skeletons to control you in office. See, that affair came out in 1915, just before the 1916 election, but it was too late. And for those who say that Woodrow Wilson hated the Federal Reserve, I know that there's a famous quote that he has. However, it was Woodrow Wilson who tried to push in the League of Nations, a globalist entity. So he was either controlled or he really was a globalist.
Or B, he was an idiot.
Well,
to some degree, and that leaves to some degree of manipulation and control.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly.
Real quick, one other point regarding Mike Pence is the fact that he has become the first sitting vice president to ever launch their own political action committee. So he's chewing at the bit for that presidency.
Wait, maybe he launched his own political action committee.
He launched his own political action committee to start funding. Now, obviously, they state that this is intended to help, state elections and so forth. But Mike Pence launched the Great America Committee, which is his own super PAC to begin fundraising.
I mean, whose idea was this? What was it for Trump to have this guy as a running mate?
It's the same reason why JFK decided to grab LBJ. He needed Texas, and he needed Texas badly. Well, if you need the Midwestern states, then you're going to take a Midwestern VP.
Yeah, makes sense. Absolutely.
Plus, he had to get Republican support. If you remember, the Republicans didn't want him even when he was their candidate.
Yeah, it was the whole never Trump thing. I mean, that was absolutely vitriolic. Didn't want to meet with the guy whatsoever. Absolutely. Ken, bankruptcy. Oh, well, let's talk about the auto industry, then we'll get quickly into bankruptcies, man. Have you seen what's going on with the used car market?
Yeah, pretty much all the leases have come in and get with the consumer completely tapped out. Nobody's buying.
It's a great time. It's a great time. If anybody wants to buy a used car, just wait a while. Just like with houses, just wait a while. These things are about to plummet.
Let me tell you something. I remember a car dealer one time told me the absolute best time to buy a car is the end of February.
Mm-hmm.
The reason is because it's about 6 months after the new cars come out. They are stuffed to the gills with used cars. It's the middle of winter. Nobody's buying a car in winter. And it's exactly 1 month after they do their inventories. Most businesses do their inventories at the end of January, following the holiday shopping season. So February, they are so desperate to get to sell cars, they'll virtually give them away.
Man, I'm seeing prices on certain cars of that I like, that I follow, that I always keep a tab on. I'm seeing those prices drop.
Yeah, and I think it depends on what region you're in.
Yeah, also right.
One of the first cars I bought when I was 19 or I was 20 and getting in the military is I went up and bought a car in Montana because they didn't have any sales tax, and I just registered there, got it cheap. So it all depends on the location you're at. I think where I'm at in Phoenix, cars say they're not really going down too much in prices, but almost all the other places, like especially Texas and the Northeast, car prices are falling through the floor.
They really
and then, of course, Fitch yesterday or on Friday decided to ratchet up their number of companies that they forecast to go bankrupt.
Mm-hmm.
In April, they forecast 8 companies. One of them went, Rue 21, on the list. Now that list is up to 11.
Wow.
And the one that sticks out to me, ironically, is the 99-cent store. 9-cent.
No,
when a 99-cent store is on the verge of bankruptcy, the jig is up.
Yeah. The jig is up, my man. At 99 cents. It's I've seen actually quite a few dollar stores going under. Yeah,
exactly. I mean, they're trying to go woohoo about Walmart, that Walmart's online retail is helping them. Well, they never talked about their bottom line numbers. Walmart is their sales were for crap.
Yeah, the funny thing is also, look at the competition that American retailers are now facing. American brick and mortar retailers that are running these inefficient, archaic, obsolete models. Now, all of a sudden, a lot of European rivals are into the market. Like, for instance, grocery stores. A lot of German grocery stores like Aldi's and the larger competitor from Germany, they're all making inroads into the U.S. market, and they're doing phenomenally well, undercutting their competition by 50% in price, putting out quality products, a lot of organic, non-GMO products you can find on the shelves for an unbelievably amazing price. And the mainstream, grocery stores, they have no way to compete. Walmart can't even compete in that level. And then recently, Ken, we had a European company called Primark, which sells clothing, European clothing. And then again, these are all private label clothing that's from overseas, that are made in like places like Cambodia, Bangladesh, Thailand, and they sell it over here through various different private labels. and they're doing phenomenally well because they're selling quality premium clothing for much less than you'd buy at Walmart. How can they even compete? Walmart's getting killed everywhere.
Yeah, well, because Walmart relies 80% or more on getting their imports from China, Vietnam, etc.
Right.
And if they're not able to, if China is not really, providing them the means, especially as prices are starting to go up, then they can't be the low-cost leader.
Yep. No, exactly correct. Ken, your closing comments, man. Anything else you want to talk about on your radar screen?
Well, yeah, a couple things about Bitcoin and this new one that's coming out, ZenCoin. One of the interesting things I found out and I wrote about yesterday over at the Daily Economist was the fact that not only do we have Bitcoin in the general exchanges now being over 2,100. Yes, a couple days ago, the price was over 2,350 in the Korean exchanges. So what the real question we have to ask is, with everything rising in price so quickly, doubling across the board, Bitcoin since the beginning of the year, Ether going up 7 times in the last 2 months, Litecoin, everything shooting to the moon. I know Bix has talked about the fact that it can't be a bubble because not everybody's in it. If your neighbor's not in it, et cetera, et cetera. But I want to bring up a different point. We had a housing bubble in 2007. But back then, did the Canadians, did the Chinese, did the Japanese, were they buying U.S. houses? No. Bubble doesn't necessarily have to mean that the shoe shine boy is telling you to buy housing or buy this. The fact of the matter is that we have, since 2008, the global market has really expanded, and bubbles can occur because all those foreign countries have access to U.S. markets, certain U.S. securities and assets. And the story came out that 48% of all Bitcoin transactions are occurring in just 2 places, Korea and Japan.
Shocking.
And with that being said, all of the acceleration, the joke over at Zero Hedge, the Chinese wives, the Chinese stay-at-home housewives who jump into the Momo plays. And that's what exactly they're finding out in Asia. This is a Momo play. But one of the things that was also said is that institutions are now buying. Right. Well, if institutions are buying, what does that really say? That means that in Japan, in China, in Korea, and perhaps even starting in the U.S., institutions have all this still low interest free cash, and there's no assets to buy. So they're all getting into some type of asset that they perceive as undervalued, because over here we've got housing, stocks, bonds, everything is overvalued. That's why the markets have suddenly become stagnant. Yeah. So you're going to see a big push, and I think that's going to drive up the prices far beyond what their true value is at this time. And isn't that sort of the real definition of a bubble? Buying something that's overvalued when there's all buyers and no sellers. Now, the new thing that's coming about that really could be the catalyst to take off is gold-backed cryptocurrencies. Yeah,
you mentioned Zen Gold, man. Like, what is that all about? Like, it's very interesting.
Well, first we had at the beginning of May, we had Dubai, which created the 1 gram, which is a gold-backed cryptocurrency that's Sharia law compliant.
Oh, wow.
Then we have 2 weeks ago, or about 10 days ago, the CME group, the ones who left the London Silver Fix.
Yes.
They have made a contract and an agreement with the UK Royal Mint to create a gold-backed cryptocurrency. And now Zen Gold is doing one. They're having an ICO, initial coin offering, so you can get in on the ground floor on Friday, May 26th. And you can go over to their website, zengold.org, gives the information about it. But supposedly they're going to be those who buy into the initial coin offering, that money is going to go to buy gold at either micro or even gram levels. And what the purpose behind Zen Gold is that your coins are going to allow you to do transactions that are gold backed, and you can do it as you are exchanging money. So I think Zen Gold is going to be a currency rather than like Ethereum, which is a specialized one,
Sure.
Ripple, which is for the banks. Ethereum, to me is for the multinational corporations because Microsoft and a few others are getting into that.
Right.
So
Right.
this is going to be the future of cryptocurrency. I don't think it's going to be some domestic type of currency like Bitcoin was originally going to be. I personally think that when the fiat currencies crash, the sovereigns are going to create their own international cryptocurrency for bank settlement and for trade.
Yeah.
And then there's going to be specific ones that are going to be for a myriad of different things. What's going to emerge as a domestic trade currency that you and I would use when we go shopping retail? That could be Bitcoin, but I get the sneaking suspicion that Bitcoin, because it was the first, is not going to be the last.
Right.
I think something absolutely new, and I think it's going to be a gold-backed one, is going to be the wave of the future.
I think you're probably right. Especially, it will appeal, especially to the East. They will gobble it up, and then when our banking system collapses, then we ourselves will look at cryptos that are gold backed and something that's commodity backed, and we'll jump on. I'm surprised no one's created a crypto that's silver backed yet, man.
Oh, that may come, but I think silver is. I'm in agreement with Bix. Silver is so tight that there's just not enough silver to back something like that.
Right.
I don't think it may or may not be nationalized. I'm open to that, but it's going to definitely be one where I think the multinationals are going to try to buy the whole, industry.
Yeah.
On the flip side of that too, when it comes to the cryptocurrencies, I know that Cliff High over at the WebBots, he's been saying that Bitcoin is going to go up to whatever in relation to the dollar. Well, if the dollar goes, then Bitcoin is not going to be valued against the dollar, so it's not going to be worth $1 million.
Yeah, I mean, if it's worth $1 million,
at a certain
it's worth
point,
$1 million hyperinflated dollars.
Well, there won't be any dollar, so how can it has nothing to relate to. What's going to be relation? So it's going to be extremely valuable. But if all the fiat currencies are gone and we move into something new, then everything is going to get revalued against whatever. Can you imagine Bitcoin revalued against another cryptocurrency that's going to be sovereign? I think this is going to be a whole new frontier, a whole new ball game. Yeah. And so I would personally, for me, I would rather buy physical gold and silver, and then be able to transfer it into whatever cryptocurrency wins out when the Wild West is when the dust is settled.
Yeah, I mean, the Bitcoin, like what Vin Armani said in that interview, it could be the MySpace of cryptos. Very possible.
It could because of the fact that it was the first, and it's running on an older blockchain technology. Even if it gets upgraded to the new one. By the way, that's they say that it's decentralized, but for those who have actually looked into it, there is actually, if you think about it, a board of directors. Well, think about this: how in the heck are they able to change the Bitcoin blockchain if there's no centralization? How does SegWit and Bitcoin Unlimited? How do they have access to mess with the blockchain if it's decentralized? No, there are certain individuals who have the power to determine the direction and future of Bitcoin. Plus the fact that the Bitcoin decisions are made by something called power. The miners actually determine the direction of Bitcoin. Those who have the most mining power make the decisions. So it is centralized, but it's privately centralized. It's like the miners are the board of directors, and those who are messing around with the blockchain for Bitcoin are actually almost like the CEO and the CFO and all that. So there is a centralization, contrary to what people think. Otherwise, Bitcoin, nothing would be affecting Bitcoin, and it would just be going as it goes, and it would either crash when the blocks get too big, or etc. But when you have these things like Ethereum, which has a centralized, privately centralized system running their blockchain, you have this new Zen Gold that's using something called the multiverse or metaverse blockchain. You have Ripple that's a banking one that probably is stemming from Blythe Masters. So all these are going to be like multinational run blockchain technologies and their own cryptocurrencies to run specific things.
Yeah. It's going to be interesting nonetheless, my man. Nonetheless. Ken, give out your website and how people can follow you, bro.
Yeah, you can check me out at thedailyeconomist.com. Also, roguemoney.net, obviously, is a contributor. And usually Monday, Wednesdays, and Fridays, I have a podcast over on YouTube. Just look for The Daily Economist.
Absolutely. Subscribe and follow Ken and his work. With that being said, guys, we are over now. Check us out on roguemoney.net. And again, check out our sponsors, myfreedomnow.us. Get out of debt, fix your credit, and get funded. $600K unsecured. Get it for your investments, pay off a property, get out of debt, do whatever the heck you want to do. That being said, CJ, we're over and out. Take it away, buddy.